start spreading the news. I'm worried today. Looks like our mayor, he's a 6'6" clown. He's always in the gym and late for his meetings. His wife runs strife. It's $1 billion worth of jive. And they're about to leave. Who's gonna take their place? New York, I'm nervous. What's there left for us to do? Will it be a doctor or a lawyer? Maybe a celebrity or a cop with a mop. Will they work for the people or the CEOs? New York, we've got to come together.
Wow. Ethel Merman lives. For our younger viewers, Ethel Merman lives.
Yeah.
Check out Ethel Merman. Wow, that was, you belted it out.
Yes, well, I feel that.
I was very passionate, Hassan, and I felt the passion, too.
Thank you.
You know, as you mentioned, the Mayor De Blasio, after an 8-year run, is going to be leaving us. And in about a month, we're actually going to have the Democratic primary in New York, which basically will elect the new mayor of New York.
That is true.
So we were talking about this, and New York, which we love, is in a desperate position. The city is broke. Crime is getting out of control. They don't really know if people are going to come back. A lot of businesses have threatened to leave. A lot of the tax bracket people, the really rich people, they all went down to Florida where they don't have to pay taxes. There's gentrification where poor people are being driven out of their neighborhoods.
Right.
The school system is a disaster. Basically, the subways are really a disaster. They're going back 24 hours a day now, which is going to be really interesting because they can't seem to control the crime with without the nighttime thing. So the city is in a very dangerous place. Probably the worst place that the city's been in since the 1970s.
I agree.
And so we have an election coming, and we were thinking what we really need now is a dynamic, innovative, creative mayor.
Good luck.
So they had their first debate, and at the debate, there's like about 12, 13 people running.
Right.
And two of the people who are running are, sorry about that, Ray McGuire and Sean Donovan. So one of the questioners at the debate is trying to get a feeling about these two.
What are their beliefs?
And so he asked the question about what is the average, I think it's the median price to buy a home in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. So Ray McGuire said he thought it would be $100,000, and Sean Donovan, he said about $90,000. So these two guys are running for mayor, and they didn't know that the median price to buy a house in Brooklyn now is $900,000. You're only about $800,000. You can't be more off, basically, than these two guys. So, and they're running for mayor. So I started thinking to myself, okay, these two guys should be filled with shame and just drop out of the race. Because how do you come so unprepared to a debate? You have to stand out. There's a million people running. And there's, as we're going to give you the numbers in a few minutes. But, you know, it's still a month away. So these two morons. So, by the way, Ray McGuire, he's a Wall Street guy. He's a Wall Street guy, a black guy. Been running a lot of commercials in New York. That, you know, we need a businessman. It's the Bloomberg thing again. That we need. He's not close to as rich as Bloomberg.
Right.
But that's what we need. We need a Wall Street guy because, you know, they are the shadiest lowlives there are. But we did have 12 years of Bloomberg because he's stolen. Remember, he stole 4 years.
Yeah. He just said, I'm doing it
He's
again.
right, and the media here all bowed and crawled, and he got another 4 years to be Mayor Mike. But Ray McGuire's been running a lot of ads that he's this black guy that made it up, and Jay-Z is a big endorser of his.
Really?
Oh yeah, Jay-Z really thinks that that's what we need.
Yeah.
But the other guy, Sean Donovan, the guy that said 90,000, even more interesting because his actual career he made as the housing and urban development czar.
Oh, he must have not gone to
under
work.
President Obama. So this is a guy who was in charge of housing and stuff like that, and he was only $810,000 off the median.
Give or take.
So I'm thinking, what we need now is a really great mayor. We need a mayor, we need somebody that, that could really step in and be very, because we could be going right down the toilet.
Oh, it's on the way.
De Blasio's already blown most of the money that he got from the federal government.
Have you even seen or heard anything?
Well, we'll get
from
to him. But let's make this now because can we have our news theme?
Yes,
is our news theme ready?
Yes,
because
ready.
Hassan, now we want you guys to realize that we're going to be covering this Democratic primary in only the way Epstein and Hassan Dirty Truth Tellers can cover it. And now we're going to give you the first poll numbers coming out from New York One News. So Hassan.
You have to be ready when it goes there. You have to go back to the camera, okay? Let's do it one more time. You have to be back to the camera.
I was trying to find the nipple and I couldn't start earlier.
Good evening and welcome. We have the polls for you, everybody, and we want to tell you the percentage of these people who are running, and then we're going to give you a little background information. And these are the people, okay, these are the people that we have who wants to run New York City. So you tell us what you think, okay? Andrew Yang, he got 22%. Eric Adams, 15%. Scott Stringer, 11%. Maya Willie, 7%. And Catherine Garcia, 7%. Okay? These were the people that were over 5% in the polls. Now let's get a little background information on these people who are running.
Well, could I just make a slight correction?
Yes.
Her name is Wiley.
Wiley?
Yes.
What'd I say?
Willie.
Willie? I apologize. The name is Maya Willie.
You just, that's what you said the first time.
That's what I'm saying.
She's a sister.
Oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart.
She's a sister.
Maya Wiley.
And not only is she a sister, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that she's married to a Jew. Just like our Vice President Harris.
Yeah.
These black women who are giving coochie to Jews. I'd like to personally thank all of you. Not that many.
Okay, let's get back to the news.
Okay, we'll get back to
the news.
But whenever you talk about,
Yeah, but let's stay with, when I go like this, we're on the news. Okay, go like this. Okay, here we go. Andrew Yang, he's Asian American, a businessman. No political experience whatsoever. He has about as much as I have, okay? Brilliant in math. He offered the U.S. citizens $1,000 a month.
When he ran for president.
Yes, he
you want
did
to
run
fill
for
in
president.
more about
well,
him?
if you let me finish.
Well, okay, but
you didn't even let me get to the sentence.
Okay, you're busy. Oh, very aggressive. Very
yes,
aggressive.
because I got all my stuff down here.
I'm sorry.
Okay?
I'm very sorry.
You can't even handle it. Just sit there.
I can handle it.
And he was against circumcision.
Can I get in now?
No.
No, you don't jump in past him. We got to talk a little bit.
Go ahead.
First, let's start with what is circumcision? Is that when they take a little boy and they he's not even a week old?
Take the skin off.
And they mutilate his penis.
Yes.
So Andrew Yang, when he ran for president, he ran in the Democratic primary. He did a little better than people thought he was going to do. He was kind of an outsider. He'd wear that thing that said math on his jacket.
Oh, and you think I couldn't say this right now to the audience? That I wasn't going to say this?
No, I don't think so.
I absolutely was not.
I don't think so.
I had no desire whatsoever to say any of this
right.
bullshit
So,
that he's saying.
I
had made it clear to you.
I want them to know more about Andrew because we're going to be in charge of this. We want people watching this YouTube show before you make your decision. Andrew Yang Asian American, which is a good thing because we've never had an Asian American
Nope.
mayor. So that would be good. Plus, Asian Americans are dealing with a lot of racism from the MAGA people. It would be very
Right.
good. But Wang basically ran for president. He had this idea to give everybody a monthly $1,000, which you mentioned.
Yes, yes.
He also was against circumcision, which is a very unique thing for a presidential candidate.
Well,
I personally
how did
myself.
you even want to put that up?
Well, you know, it's something that's not often discussed. And as a Jew, because we're the kings of this, like we have brisses, like it becomes a party to cut somebody's, to torture a boy's penis. And then they wonder why Jewish guys are into cock and ball torture their whole lives because
Well, you started
right
out
away they
that way,
torture. I
yeah.
mean, I remember when my nephew,
Watch your
remember
hand, watch your
my
hand.
nephew, I had to hold him while the rabbi, his hands were shaking. Like, not even a doctor that does it. It's not
Yeah.
a surgeon.
No,
They
no.
bring in like an 80-year-old Jewish rabbi. His hands were shaking like this, and he puts this contraption on my nephew,
Clip.
my nephew Harrison, and I was holding him, and they wrenched the shit off, and he started screaming. It's a barbaric.
It wasn't Harrison screaming, it was him screaming.
It was a
everyone.
barbaric.
He embarrassed me so much.
It's a barbaric
He
thing.
started
So
screaming.
that was the best thing about Yang, but now he's running for mayor. He doesn't really know much about New York, from what I can gather. He's
No.
kind of a weird, kind of geeky guy, but he's number one in the polls. I think he's number one because of his name recognition, because he ran for president.
Yeah.
And for
so
a while,
he
you
might
know,
get some points with
I think he
that.
may get it. I mean, he's the leader.
I would say it's a group that no one's ever really counted on and thought about.
You
But
couldn't
the
put
Asians,
together- oh.
you could really make a difference right now and make people stand up and look and see that, wow, you do have a voice.
Yes, that would be interesting
Use it.
from
You
that
do
point
have a
of
voice.
view. Andrew Yang.
Yes.
Go ahead. Next.
Eric Adams. He's a former police lieutenant, and he is clear. He's got a little bit of that Giuliani thing in him in terms of keeping everything under control. In fact, he will tell you he will wear his gun. He will have his holster on. Okay? When he is mayor, he will walk around with a holster on.
Right
with
there,
a gun.
that guy can't win. Let's
Okay.
let's not let him win. Number one, the New York Post is endorsing a black guy. This is the problem.
That's going to wear a holster.
Because there's crime in the city right now, so they're going to terrify people again to try to go
Here
back
we
to
go,
that
back
Giuliani
with that.
shit. They're going to try to bring. This is the guy. You put a black mayor in there, and he could start the stop and
With a
frisk
gun.
again. No, the
Yeah.
stop and frisk.
Yes,
He
yeah.
can get away with a lot of shit.
Yeah, nobody will say, well, look, it's a
He's
black
black.
guy
He's
doing it.
black.
What are you going to say?
You know, New York Post is
Yeah,
endorsing
yeah.
him. He wants to
Yeah.
wear a gun when he's the mayor. He's very pro-charter
And see, this
charter
affects-
schools.
yes.
Now, this is something you know
Yeah,
about,
yeah,
charter schools.
yes.
So he wants to
You
get,
don't want that. There are no unions.
It's really
Not a good thing.
It's all owned by hedge fund guys. I'm not big on Eric Adams, although he is a black guy, and he's second in the poll right now.
Yes. Next, Scott Stringer, city controller, and he got accused by an Asian American woman for sexual harassment.
This just recently
Just
happened.
recently. Now, he said it was consensual. But let's not even forget this little part. Oh, what? He's married.
Now, I know that a lot of Asian women hate this, but there's a lot of white guys that have what's known as the Asian
You got to
fetish.
be careful, ladies.
Asian women are not necessarily going to be a little submissive. That's a
Well, that I don't know. All my friends that
stereotype.
are Asian are not about that
Asian women
bullshit.
they're not little flowers,
hate it.
and they hate when you just want them because they're Asian.
Yeah, they hate
See,
that
if you
shit.
want me because I'm a Jew, I love that.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
do.
but Asian
everyone's
women.
not everybody's not like you.
Well, I don't know if there's a Jew fetish. Although
No.
more and more black women, you got Maya Wiley, you got Harris, we got Hassan. You black women, Pearl Bailey years ago with
Yeah,
Louis Belson.
yeah,
There
yeah.
could be a little Jewish fetish. Maybe when you were growing up, you saw a Jew and you thought of that Hebrew national salami, and you were like, oh,
Sure.
God, give me that salami.
I couldn't wait with relish. That's
yeah.
what I wanted.
Relish, Gouldens, mustard. You know what
Ew,
you
I
can't
don't
put on
like
a Hebrew
Gouldens.
national
Why?
salami? Mayonnaise. Why? It's not kosher!
And
That's from our live show. I haven't said that in a year.
I know.
Wow, I missed that. I
I
missed
know.
that line. It's not kosher!
Okay. And my sister, Maya
Wiley.
yes. She's a lawyer. She's worked for MSNBC as a legal analyst, and she worked in the Bill De Blasio administration.
That's something on your resume.
I don't know my.
Maybe take that off your resume. But we'll get to De Blasio in a minute.
Keep
We'll
showing
get there in a
that,
minute.
okay? And Kathleen Garcia, she was endorsed by the New York Times, former commissioner of the New York Department of Sanitation. Now, this is all I'm going to say. She has to deal with a lot of tough dudes when you're dealing with that job. So this got to be a tough cookie. Okay.
I thought originally she was Hispanic because her name is Garcia, but she seems to be her husband. His name was Jerry Garcia, not that Jerry Garcia.
Yeah.
But she's divorced, and it looks to me like she's actually Irish.
Yeah.
Not that that matters.
Yeah.
But it does
she
matter.
has to be a tough cookie to handle that.
She has no
job.
chance, though.
You
Let me
don't
just
think so?
quickly just make a quick thing here, and then we'll talk a little about De Blasio.
Why do you think she has no chance?
No name recognition. She only had, what's she getting, 7%? I mean, there's no way, 6%. She's not going to have enough. It's really, the way I think of it, it really is coming down, it will come down to 3 people. It's going to either be Andrew Yang, Eric Adams, or Scott Stringer. Now, Stringer is a mainstream guy. He's been around forever. He's the controller. And, before this sexual harassment thing, he seems like this guy seems like he's an accountant, if you know what I'm saying. Not one woman's pussy has ever gotten wet for Scott Stringer. But as soon as you get some power, now there are women who are going to be drawn to you.
Well,
so
that's always like that.
I guess as the controller, he had a little bit of power, so maybe...
what about Scott? He was...
Scott Stringer, that's what
so, no, I'm Sean I'm talking about.
Sean who?
Sean Donovan? What about him, though?
He's the guy that didn't know the money price. He's not. He has no chance. He's in the 5%.
You don't think so?
He has 5% of the vote and didn't know the prices. Trust me, his 3 guys got a chance. Scott Stringer, who has a chance because he's a very boring... He's going to sell you that he's an accountant. He knows what he's doing with money. He doesn't know shit, okay? The guy's been in control. He's a loser. Right now, he's at 11%. I don't see him getting much more, except he may get a large amount of Asian women.
What about Jay-Z's boy?
No, they're under 5%.
You don't, but things can always change.
Son, stick to what you know about. Okay?
Oh, don't play me like I don't know.
You don't know
things can change.
They can change. But
Okay?
I'll go on record
if
right
all
now.
of a sudden,
if either Ray Donovan or Ray McGuire or Sean Donovan or Kathleen Garcia, if they are nominated, if they get the nomination, I will kiss your big black ass on YouTube. I will bend you over and kiss your big black ass.
That gives you joy.
And we give the audience joy.
That gives you joy.
Who doesn't want to see a Jew going down there and munching on the big black ass?
How long do you want the list to be?
Now, I think it's going to come down to Eric Adams, who is black, so he's going to get black people to vote for him.
Right.
And he's very conservative.
Yes.
He's a cop.
Yes.
He wears his gun. He has some money behind him because they're running ads. I think he has a shot as we get closer because they're going to make people really scared with the crime. That's what I'm smelling right now. Every day you're hearing more and more crime, and they're going to say that Eric Adams is the man to stop the crime.
Yes.
Andrew Yang, he has name recognition because he ran for president, and people know his name. He hasn't looked good so far running for mayor. He doesn't seem to... He hasn't even talked about circumcision. He hasn't talked about that at all.
Yeah.
There's not really... He can't give us his... Although in the city, he's also claimed he's going to give us money. I don't think it's $1,000 a month. I think he's going to give us something. He's promising that.
Yeah.
And he knows math. That's not stereotype or racist.
No, that's what he wrote.
He used to wear a thing on his chest that said math.
But see, this is my thing. The one you're talking about, the cop with the gun, right?
Eric Adams.
Yes. This is the fear for me. Because they're going to say to him, okay, we need you to come in here. You're the man, come in here and straighten New York City out. If you're looking around now, you're seeing a lot of homeless people, right? It's more and more and more. And there are more and more people of color that aren't working. So now, all of these people, he is going to, it's going to be scary for black folks. Because they're gonna say, well, it's a black man doing it, and he's in charge, and y'all aren't respecting him as a black person. So you got to be careful.
He gives you the black cover.
Yeah.
He can come in and be a tough guy.
You got to be careful about that. Just because somebody has your color doesn't mean they have your heart.
This is what happened in the 90s during the crack epidemic when there was a lot of crime in the inner cities. And a lot of black mayors wanted tough policing that led to 3 strikes, that led to a lot of problems.
Yes.
So I see Eric Adams. I'm going to go on record right now, Hassan, for an early prediction. We're going to cover this again a couple of times before. It's a month away.
I believe so.
I'm going to go on record right now and saying that I predict it's going to be Eric Adams against Andrew Yang. And right now, I'm going, unless Andrew Yang steps up to the plate, he has to come up with some new stuff. He's not looking good.
Right.
He's shaky. He doesn't know much about New York. So I'm leaning Eric Adams right now, but that's an early prediction. Now, as our editorial, because so far we haven't edited, that was total news, right?
Right.
No editorializing.
Yeah, yeah.
Bill De Blasio, you are the worst. Let me just go on record. We had a radio show.
Where the hell are you?
We had a radio show on Breakthrough Radio when he ran the first time. Remember that?
I remember that, yeah.
And he got elected for 2 reasons. His son had an afro, so that signaled
Y'all
everyone
bought into that
that he
bullshit.
had a black son. That means that the black people, of course, went along with that. And
Liberals too, white liberals too. Just don't put it on
Christine
blast.
Quinn should have become mayor, but for some reason
She messed up with the horses.
The animal people hated her. I mean, and you don't want the horse and animal people to go against you.
She made a blunder.
it-
And the hospital.
The hospital too, but it was the animal people were obsessed with defeating her.
Yeah.
And 100 people, just like now, are running. So you didn't need a lot of people to vote for you, and that's how De Blasio got in. And he's lazy. He's corrupt. He was a pathetic mayor, and it's important now. We see during the coronavirus problem.
Where is he?
But it's also the mayor is important. He has a lot of power.
Yeah.
He can say the restaurants are closed, this is open.
Where is he?
It's an important job. So De Blasio, and what really made us the most pissed, he's another guy, another white guy with a black woman. He's not Jewish.
Right.
Thank God he's not Jewish. He's not even Italian. His name's not even De Blasio,
no.
you know. His name is something like William Wilhelm or something like that.
Well, you switched it?
His stepfather was named De Blasio.
Oh, okay.
But he's not Italian. I don't think he's Italian.
Okay.
Nobody wants credit for that guy. Let me go on record as saying, as pathetic as Giuliani, Bloomberg, or Ed Koch, they all suck.
I don't know.
De Blasio, you are the worst.
No, not
You
worse
are the
than
worst.
Giuliani. No,
Well, not
sorry.
worse as a human being, but as a man. He was also, De Blasio was very corrupt. The Hasidim own his I almost said the Hasidim own his fucking ass. Then I realized that, I can say that. His Hasidim own his fucking ass.
Yes, yes.
I hope after he leaves mayor, I hope this could happen, that they get him on corruption, that they go after him because he's
They're not gonna
very
get him.
dirty, Hassan.
There's going to be so much dirt being filled up. They're not going to get him.
So, that's Epstein. I think we did a really good job on
did
that.
too.
But do you have
I
anything
did
else
too.
you want to editorialize?
No,
'Cause I
and
did
we'll
step on you.
continue. He's always stepping, but we will continue with this news and just stay right on our channel because we will always be with you. Thank you. Yeah, we did that good.
Okay, so
Who is it?
it must be somebody
oh
at the
my
door.
gosh.
Yeah.
So
So
while I'm gone, I hope he doesn't do too much De Blasio stuff, okay?
I was gonna go to
Yeah.
De Blasio,
Yeah.
but I'd like to, instead of doing that, I'd like to, because De Blasio, he came in as supposedly a progressive, that he was gonna have some kind of heart. The police hate his guts, but he still really hasn't stood up to the police. They just hate his guts because that's what the police do. They're we all know the story with the New York NYPD and their union. To call them a union is actually insulting to the term union. The NYPD should not be in a union. It should have some other kind of name, because the police, those are the people who go in and break the necks of unions throughout American history. America was more brutal to the labor movement than in any other country in the Western world. And who did it? The police. The police come in and break knees and smash you in the head. But somehow they call this a union with that guy, Patrick Lynch, who could have worked in the Hitler regime as a director of the SS union. So, De Blasio, you were a disgrace. You make interracial couples look, and your wife was a disgrace too. She has this thing called Thrive, $1 billion, mental health. What did she do? What has she done? She just, they're a grifter. They're another grifting couple like the Clintons and the Trumps. De Blasio, really, really bad as a mayor of New York. I can't wait for you to go. I wish you could take Cuomo with you, the two of you, both of you really, as not many newsmen will say this, but you both can lick my balls. Both of you were horrific horrific performance by Bill De Blasio and his wife. I can't remember her name right now, Mrs. De Blasio, but she runs Thrive. Please come in. And just a horrific job by De Blasio and his wife. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our legendary, the artistic director of Epstein and Hassan's Dirty Truth Tellers, the legendary Draz drummer.
What, man?
Joe Keys. Draz drummer Joe Keys. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
What the hell you saying, man?
My mouth got a little bit excited because I was talking about De Blasio. I hate that guy.
Yeah, man. Well, you gotta realize something about politics, man. Don't nobody care what you hate. If you ain't got money, they don't care now.
That's true.
It ain't about what poor people.
But it's important to get a good mayor in here, and let me tell you, this group that they got running are a bunch of mediocrity.
They gonna get a businessman in here.
Yeah, well, okay, Ray McGuire. You're like Jay-Z. You want the Black Wall Street guy?
I didn't say that's what I want. I said that's what seems to be moving into politics.
Well, yes, but Andrew Yang is a businessman too. He's a businessman. I don't know what business Andrew Yang was in, but he's a businessman.
You don't even have to have a background in politics, man. Just be business.
Before you get to your report, what do you think of circumcision? Because, you know, Andrew Yang is against circumcision. I've never heard a politician really discuss that before. Are you circumcised, or is that too personal a question?
Man, ain't nobody cutting shit off my God.
Okay, no, I'm not, you know...
I mean, I just, you know, whatever's there should stay.
It seems to me like...
I don't mind you looking at it, moving it, touching it, stroking it, yeah.
A lot of women think the circumcised looks better, though. Do you, have you ever heard that yours is not looking good?
I never had a complaint.
Okay. All right.
Obviously, you have.
No, I'm circumcised.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and it's pissing me off because, you know, I couldn't afford to lose, I mean...
An ounce.
An inch, you know, who the hell knows? But I'm telling you, these rabbis that do it, it's like a special rabbi they bring in. They call him a mile.
Yeah.
He comes in, he's always like shaky and nervous. My poor nephew, his mile,
we heard this in the beginning.
Sweat was pouring off his body, and I'm holding my nephew.
Yeah, you fucked it up. We heard it, man.
All right, what do you got for us? Which woman do you want this week?
All right, look, now. Azealia Banks, I just want to say it now. Look. I love jazz, I love all kind of music, and I think Azealia Banks was one of the most talented artists out here. I mean, she had a sense of rhythm, and she could go in and do a rap, and then sing, and then do a ballad. She is just unbelievably talented.
What was her first song that was about her pussy?
211.
But what was that, her pussy?
Yeah, you asked me what the song
212.
was. 212, yeah. But she's brilliant.
But what did she say about her? It was the line.
Man, can I do my goddamn
right,
story, man?
Go ahead.
All right? Yeah.
First I got to deal with Hassan, now I got to deal
I'm
with
trying to tell my story,
ahead.
man. So, man, let me get my hat right. She said, well, that lyric was, I'm gonna destroy you. But it was a good beat, a good rhythm. But she's into this fight with Nicki Minaj, right? And she's mocked her now. There's a term some of you might not know. She said that Nicki Minaj is doing bags of sugar boogers. And that's a code for cocaine, because she was doing a show, like a podcast, and she was sniffling. Now, Nicki said she had been crying and she was emotional. Azealia Banks went off on her. In fact, she said her chest looked like a butt. Like the form of her chest looked like an ass. And I'm just saying to you, Azealia, baby, just do your music. Because what's happening now is people are getting to remember your mouth and not your music. Now, when you went on Wildin' Out, it made you cry. You couldn't do it.
Maybe she needs a more mature man like you to help her in her career.
No, man, that's too much.
See, you don't want to.
I mean, I'd play the drums for her, but she'd have to pay me before the gig.
Yeah. What was it called? The sugar booger?
Sugar booger, yeah.
Yeah, because the sugar is like white cocaine, and the booger is because of your nose. Because years ago when I was doing, I don't recommend this to our younger audience, but I did cocaine, unfortunately, in my past. I've done some cocaine. And, you know, I would always tell my parents that I had I had allergies 12 months a year. My nose was running. And I didn't know it was called Sugar Booger. In my day, they didn't call it that.
And your parents bought that.
My parents were not hip to my drug use. Like, I took downs when I was in college one day, and I came home, and we were having family. It was Passover, the Seder, and my head actually went and hit the table. And my mother said, "Oh, look at my doctor. He's studying so hard."
Oh, damn, see, a black mother with it. First of all, you ain't falling on a plate of food. She'd have whipped your ass.
It was Passover Seder with, when you search for the matzah.
Oh, and she told Azealia Banks said Nicki Minaj should stop wearing spandex. I mean, when she is online, she can be vicious.
Yes.
Funny, but vicious, but not that shit. Now, Beyonce, I know you with a man. Did Jay-Z ever leave you?
Oh, she's not dumping Jay-Z for you.
She ain't
Oh,
never
stop
met
dreaming. Stop dreaming.
She ain't never met me.
He's got $3 billion.
Yeah, but I got a $3 billion cock.
Okay.
Right. Now, there's a movie in Bollywood, right? There's a lyric where they talk about you don't look like Beyonce because you're fair. Looking like Beyonce is a shame. So over there in Bollywood, right, they got this thing about the lighter you are, the brighter you are, the better you are. So they actually wrote a song with Beyonce's name in it, talking about she's dark and she ain't like the character that's in the song. Let me tell you motherfuckers something from India, okay? Black folks ain't the one that fucked with you. It was the British. And you need to take your shit out on them, not on us. Now, y'all are dark. Some of y'all are darker than I am. And you need to learn to embrace that shit. There's too many of you. So you need to leave Beyonce the fuck alone. Stop dyeing your goddamn skin, all right?
Do you know who signed the deal to promote a product that lightens people's skin?
Oh, man.
I just saw this online today. Harry and Meghan. They're taking a lot of shit because of this. These two are trying to make
What
money.
the
I mean,
fuck?
they're getting money from Spotify gave them $25 million to do that show. But they signed. You can check it out on the internet. It'll probably be in the news more coming up.
Get the fuck out of here.
By the time this goes on, people will definitely have known about it. And they'll probably didn't say they didn't know what they were doing, but it's actually a product that lightens skin.
Yeah.
Very, very bad move by you two. You two need to speak to Joe Keys. Maybe you could step in.
What the fuck are you doing, Megan? What the fuck are you doing? Ask your mother, who's a black woman, of the dangers of doing that shit. You so involved in wanting to be a goddamn queen.
Yeah.
That you were willing to risk any amount of integrity. Let me tell you a little something, Miss Maggie, baby. That motherfucker you got, if that queen and her son said to him, "We cutting all your shit out."
They did tell him that.
Oh, they told him and whispering in his ear, if you come back, maybe.
I mean,
Harry, what the fuck is that pussy that good, man?
Right. I mean, your uncle, he's a pedophile, and they didn't cut him out of the will because he behaves, Harry. Now you go in and you got $25 million from Spotify. That's enough. You don't need any more money than that the rest of your life.
Yeah,
that alone will cover you.
The fuck is your problem?
You're signing a thing to make your skin lighter? Oh, I got to get the door.
But what's wrong with these people? See, we will do anything for greed. It's like I was telling Epstein earlier, it's this thing on TikTok where there's a song comes on, right? And you point to somebody, and people using this to come out. You point to somebody and say, they're gay and I'm not. And the shit is funny, because you see their family look like, what? I didn't know that shit. See, in my day, you didn't have this kind of shit to do. You just had to sit down and just tell your family, and they dealt with it. Now, who's that? Come on in.
Steve E. Sports! Joe Keys. I'm back again, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
I'm like a regular again. They got me on like 5 shows in a row.
What's up?
How are you, Joe?
Good.
Now, I've been told by Hassan to get to my job, not
please.
to talk too schmoozing.
Yeah,
she can
yeah.
schmooze.
Yes, their show, man.
but they don't like me schmoozing.
No, because nobody can take the yelling.
It's not yelling. This is the way I told you.
Just
I'm
what's
hard
the
of
story,
hearing.
man?
Now, here we go.
There we go.
By the way, that whole thing I heard Epstein talking about circumcision.
Yeah.
In Jews, they call it a breast. They cut your dick. Who thought of that? Whose idea was that?
Black folks ain't never been into that shit.
Who came up with that shit? You know what we'll do? We'll have a baby, and then a week later we'll cut his dick.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Nobody ever fights about that.
No, because it's tradition.
It's a tradition.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, I don't know if you heard about it. I know you're a sports fan, so you'll understand.
Yeah.
Legendary NBA hockey and football announcer Marv Albert announced his retirement at the end of the NBA playoffs. Marv Albert will no longer be broadcasting.
That's a legend, man.
The guy, if you grew up in New York and you were a sports fan, Marv Albert, he was the guy.
Right there, when?
Walt Frazier shoots. Yes, he would go, yes.
He scores.
No, he didn't say he scores. He said
it.
yes. Yes was his
I
trademark.
said it. Yeah.
Everybody said he scores.
Yeah.
What Marv did was so genius. He would go, Frazier, from 20 feet, yes. Yes, it was his trademark. It made him millions of dollars.
Yes.
Just saying yes. And in hockey, he would say, kick, save, and a beauty by Jacquemin. Kick, save, and a beauty.
There was something always weird, a little weird to me.
I always thought as a young boy maybe I should become an announcer because of my
It
voice.
didn't seem something was off with him to you, man.
But this is what happened to Marv. In the 1990s, right before the internet exploded, social media, Marv Albert was accused by numbers of women of biting them during sex. Whoa. Now, when you're an announcer, you're on the road all the time. You're always on the road, you're in hotels, and you get a little horny, let's face it. Yeah. So most of these guys...
You need a nibble.
Most of those guys are fucking like, so Marv gets accused of biting women, especially one woman. She had her, I remember it was in the New York Post.
Yeah,
it was on the front page, all the bite marks on her back. So at first I'm thinking, all right, Marv, after the game, you know...
You need a nibble, man.
He needs a little bite here, a bite there, and I was cool with it. But then, Joe, it got much worse.
What?
You don't remember what happened. It was on the front page of the Post.
I remember that shit.
It turns out that Marv also likes to wear women's lingerie when he has sex.
That shit.
The woman announced this to everybody that during the game, Marv Albert is doing an NBA playoff game, and you're into it. It's like a manly 10 big black guys running around.
He's sitting there, this white motherfucker
in panties.
In panties.
He's announcing the game in panties.
Running up and down there.
In panties. Then I ruined the whole game for me when I thought of that. I'm thinking Marv Albert, when he's going, yes.
That's why he was coming, man.
He probably had his...
He was coming, man.
Who knows, maybe he had a butt plug in his ass. Yes!
That's
why he had so much excitement when he would say yes.
If he wasn't coming, he would have said he scored.
Right, exactly. But
he
could say yes. Yes. So he ends up, everybody now knows
he's in bed.
That he's in lingerie. Now there's nothing, I have nothing against a man who wants to wear lingerie, but not during the game. That's a holy thing.
Let me tell y'all something. I wear Fruit of the Loom, the dude shit, all right? I'm not wearing no,
I'm not wearing a thong or something like that, and I have a very nice form. I have a nice figure, Joe, but I'm not doing that.
Get the fuck out of here.
Marv Albert. So then for a few years, the Knicks fired him, the Rangers, they all fired him, but he came back. Because in those days, there wasn't the internet yet, because...
How did they know he wasn't wearing panties again?
He might still wear them. An 80-year-old guy in panties. An 80-year-old girl in panties don't look too good. They wear bloomers.
Yeah.
Remember the bloomer, that big bloomer thing?
Now,
or Hassan would also, in the show, she'd talk about her period drawers.
Yeah.
That when Hassan...
I don't want to hear that shit.
That a woman, that when you'll start knowing she really likes you when she shows you her period drawers, not them sexy, hot drawers.
I don't want to hear
But that's all the time I have today, Joe.
Thank God, man.
I am Stevie Sports. For Epstein and Hassan's Dirty Truth Tellers.
Yeah. That's a crazy motherfucker, man, I'm telling you.
Oh, man. Stevie Sports. I remember the Marv Albert. Yeah, I did remember them. Marv Albert doing the game of panties.
Well, I'm going to tell you the night that, after it come on in the news that I was watching the game, and I had to turn the. I couldn't look at it. I had to just hear.
Yeah, you didn't want to see Marv.
I don't want to see Mark because the first thing I'm thinking is, oh, you got on
You got
a
a
thumb.
fan. Right, you got on a
And then I'm
thumb.
sitting there saying, what happens if my dick gets hard? See, I'm worried about
Right, no,
that.
that's true. That's true.
You know how many men were sitting there and their dick got hard and they dropped the fucking
I
television?
mean, Marv probably wore a bra too. He had the whole hot look.
Yeah.
Anyway, Joe, thanks for being here today.
All right, man.
Did you have any women you're sending a message to before you leave?
All I'm saying is
See ya.
Beyonce.
Beyonce,
all
you're going
I'm saying.
for it, man. You're really
going
wrong.
fucking for it. I'm going for it, all
So
right?
give up a $3 billion man for a $4 man, okay?
That's right. Because you all about love, right?
She's all about that.
You're all about love. That's what you
Beyonce.
said in your song.
That's all that she's about. Love. The great Joe Keys.
All right. See you later.
So, yeah.
Let me out, man.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I can stay here.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole Marv thing was a big thing in the 90s. And, you know, nowadays, like, that was how come Cosby, you know, when he was sort of he was accused of this stuff way before they actually nailed him. But before the internet, like, you could sort of bury a story. Marv Albert was a national broadcaster, but in New York, I mean, he was the king. You know, if you're a sports fan in New York, Marv Albert was everybody's idol and hero. And it was really big news. And, of course, James Dolan at the Garden fired him. And he was very embarrassed, but he bounced back. He eventually came back and did the NBA playoffs, and I think NBC fired him too. I don't think he went back into that, but he got onto TNT and other networks that hired him, and he was a great broadcaster. He did for NFL football. Years ago in the 60s and 70s, he even had a talk show, like a radio on WNBC radio, 66 on your dial. The first place where Howard Stern and Don Imus broadcast as well in New York. And Marv Albert, you know, he bounced back and he had a great career. I think his wife dumped him. You know, your wife usually doesn't like, unless you're into that with her, she doesn't want you wearing panties in front with another woman, you know. And again, I want to go on record as saying, I personally have no issues with that. I am not wearing panties right now. As a matter of fact, I don't think I'm wearing any underwear because I'm in my house, so I don't always have, you know, underwear on.
Hi, Joe.
You know. So anyway, here comes
What the hell are you telling the audience for you don't have on no drawers?
my.
Nobody wants to visualize that or think about that.
Nobody.
Nobody. Except for me.
You want to visualize that? Oh,
yeah.
that's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. I love
But
you.
you know what? Before we end, excuse me. If we knew what every single person who was in a quote-unquote position of power, from, let's say, a bank executive to a teacher to whatever, we don't really know what people do sexually.
No, we definitely don't
And
know.
if we knew...
And if Marv Albert didn't get accused, he was convicted of that. That was he was convicted of assault. The bite marks, biting a woman is assault. And,
okay, but the first time he bit her, right?
Yeah.
Did she go, look, I'm not into that?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Okay.
If I had been there, I could report. I am a reporter, and I feel bad that I don't have that for you.
Okay.
When I first met you, you used to like to bite me a little bit.
I was a biter.
Yeah,
I'm a
but
biter.
I'm a very sensitive guy. You know, I can't handle that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's our show, and we're gonna keep up to date on this Democratic thing in New York.
Pay attention, everybody. Pay attention.
You know,
it's going to
please,
affect us.
You know, don't watch New York One News.
Subways could go up to $10.
You know, Andrew might, you know, get rid of brisses and stuff like that, and so that's it for
Do
tonight.
we really want to have everybody walking around with a holster and a gun?
No, with that, Eric Adams be scared of this guy, okay?
Because, see, I know the one thing. If black folks stop walking around with guns on, America's going to be real nervous. New York's going to be real nervous. You get us, you get all the Latinos, all the brown people walking around with guns. We don't need no dumb
And just
stuff.
as a fuck you, we'll do a quick fuck you.
Yes,
Ready?
Yes.
Bill De Blasio.
Fuck you. You didn't take care of us, Bill.
You came in.
You left us hanging.
You disappointed us, and you made interracial
Yeah.
couples look bad.
Yeah.
You made us look bad.
Bad, man. Get to work on
I make
time.
us look good.
Yeah. Get to
Don't
work
go
on
anywhere.
time.
The Jackies have a lot of shit to say. We're Epstein and Hassan.
Like they don't know. Oh my God, what is with them? Can you tell me, man?
I don't like that guy, Bill De Blasio.
Well, he made it bad for even the jackies in New York City. I mean,
Nobody likes that guy.
who wants to come here now?
If I was that woman that worked for him, Maya Wiley,
I wouldn't tell
what is
anybody.
the sign says, Maya Willie,
Yeah, Maya Willie.
then I wouldn't tell people I work for De Blasio.
Like if they saw my resume, they go, well, what were you doing during this period? Like I volunteered.
She should say she works for Epstein and Hassan.
That's what, and that would get her the job.
She's on MSNBC.
That's what she needs.
With Joy Reid and
That's right.
Chris Hayes.
Yeah.
You know, there, Chris Hayes.
Don Lemon.
That's the wrong channel. You're
I
on
like him
CNN.
though.
Chris Hayes used to be a radical, but then
Have you not put Don Lemon?
MSNBC gave him $6 million, and his radical ass changed.
Don Lemon. I like that
Don Lemon,
name.
he's the black guy. He's
Yeah.
on CNN.
He looks like Sam Cooke.
He
Yeah.
cries every once in a while.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
very emotional, not because he's gay. I'm not saying that's
No,
because
it's
he's
when
gay.
it's a black thing he cries.
He's like a gay black guy, so he goes on, he cries.
Yeah.
And he had a #1 bestseller.
That's
Epstein
right.
and Hassan's book, What You Can and Cannot Say During Interracial Sex,
We didn't sell shit.
is not a bestseller. It's
And
not-
we've cried. We don't understand.
Who
We
cried?
have cried, man.
Epstein says if you buy his book, he'll wear Marv Albert's panties
That's right.
on the air.
That's
If
right.
you want to see Epstein in panties, buy the book.
Oh my
What You
God,
Can
please.
and Cannot Say During Interracial Sex.
Yeah.
And you can see Epstein's panties and his circumcised cock.
Yeah.
That'll bring our numbers way down.
Oh, that'll scare America.
And we
man.
can't afford to lose many watchers,
No,
so
no, we can't.
fuck Niels.
Yeah.